What up, y'all? I'm coming back to you today with part 2 to the Hoover. What to expect. There's going to be 11 things that I'm going to go over that are ways that you can be hoovered. The first one is going to be you're going to get a phone call, a text, or some kind of contact in regards to that you are the one, that you're the special one and there's nobody else. That you're the one that there's nobody else that understands them and that they want to be with out of their whole life, and you're their you're their soulmate. You know, you're their twin flame. But you got to know that's not true because they don't have any love. So you're gonna be like the soul being used to the soulless one. Number 2 is you will get a contact in, can I just see you just one last time? I'll be okay after I just see you one last time. Let me just get my fill one last time. And that's going to try to turn into, it could be, you know, anything. It may, usually it'll be something like sexual, and then it'll turn into God knows what. It could be a lunch meet or something, but nevertheless, you don't want to do it because you'll get dragged into being with them. You don't want to be in close contact with them for very long at all after you've left them, because you know your vulnerability is just being around them. So you want to what do they say? You want to avoid as many instances of vulnerability as possible, right? That's how you create success. You want to minimize those. And so number three is if they have the ability to contact you via text, via I don't know, email, they will send you a picture, usually pictures of, you know, your first cycle with them when they when everything was really good in the love bombing phase. Maybe you might have went on a trip somewhere, had a date and a meal, and then took a picture, something with a really good memory behind it. But it's usually from the first cycle, from the love bombing phase, and that's what I would always get. I'd get the same picture every cycle. Okay, number 4 will be drama. Sometimes if they don't feel like that coming up to you and trying to do things peacefully and trying to get you hoovered, they'll try the drama piece where they'll this will kind of have to be it could be over telephone or something, but it's sometimes, a lot of times in person, but not always, I guess. Well, it'll be drama like you've been saying something about them which you haven't, or some craziness. They get these delusions in their mind anyway, and they're always so paranoid because why? Because they're fake. And they live behind that mask, and really, you know, honestly, a lot of people do believe it, but there's a lot of people that have dealt with them and already know that they're trouble, and they've seen the lies, or they know they're a pathological liar by now, because some people that you'll get to know around them will eventually kind of hint these things, or even blatantly tell you. Especially after you break up with them, that's when you'll hear stuff from people. But yeah, and then they'll kind of start baiting you from there, because they're trying to figure out, they're actually fishing, because some of it they believe is probable, so they just make it truth to them. And then so they kind of believe it, that you've been saying something just all on their own. But the other part is they're going to be baiting you as well to see, because the next thing that'll come up is you never cared about the relationship, you never cared about me, and you'll be, yes, I did everything, I tried, I loved you. Next thing you know, you'll be tearing up and back in the dang relationship. You don't want to have any emotion with them. You want to be flat with them. If anything, you want to smile, because they hate people that are happy, and they don't want you to be happy if you're away from them. But when you show tears, emotion, when you're upset or you're angry or anything, all of that gives them supply and lets them know that their false mask is real. Next will be some kind of weird news, like you know, they got their degree, or somebody died. Did you know about that? Or did you hear about this? This happened to this person that you both know. Of course, you know, you already know this information typically, and they know that too, and they don't care. They just want anything to get to you that will seem like nonchalant or whatever. And so the next one will be some sort of accidental text or accidental phone call or accidental FaceTime. I've had this happen several times. Like, it'll be a text like just a period or a question mark or something like that, and then you'll be like, what? And then before you know it, you're into a whole conversation. Or I got an accidental FaceTime one time because somebody pushed something at work, a button or something, where they somehow, you know, hit on something. Next thing you know, you're in the middle of a conversation. This was early on for me, where I didn't really know about these things yet. And I wanted the narcissist back because you didn't know. You know, you don't know that they're this evil. That's the thing, man. At some point you start, and especially if this is your second or third relationship with narcissists, the devil does send them out stronger and more evil. So you start to see more and more, like, as you wake up, it's like, oh my God, you are just, I mean, cold. It's like he sends out the greater one, you know. He might start out with a lesser narcissist, then a mid-range, and I don't know if we really deal with greater narcissists. There's probably not many of them out and about. I would say most of them are probably in higher echelon positions, or, you know, like in Hollywood and stuff. But anyway, the next one will be some sort of fake apology, a faux apology. It'll be like, oh, you know, I hate that you felt that way, or whatever. They might be like, oh, I heard that you were feeling some sort of way about the way we broke up, and I'm sorry you felt that way. I didn't mean for you to feel that way, but I didn't do anything, or whatever. You know, that's just whatever it is. But it's never real. But sometimes when you've been breadcrumbed for so long, that you'll be amazed at what you will accept and be like thankful for with these individuals, because they give you nothing for so long, and you're giving them blood, sweat, and tears. And at some point, even a full apology, you'll be like, man, that's great. They almost gave me an apology. I'll take that. You know, so you gotta be careful, man. You cannot go down that road of degradation with them. You can't lower your standards. You keep them at the same level. If anything, you grow them. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to elevate, not de-escalate. You know, our in terms of our value. So when you're with the narcissist, your value is 0 or negative. You get like them, but they're negative. They're not even 0. They're negative. They're in deficit all the time. They're deficit spending. So the next one will be some kind of elaborate trip. Let me take you on a trip. It's kind of like, let me just see you one more time thing. It's like, let me just take you on one last trip and let's see how it goes. Let's just have fun, or let's just go to it let's go have a nice meal, and I'll pay for everything, and it's gonna be a beautiful meal. We'll just dress up, and we won't worry about the day-to-day stuff. But what they don't want you to worry about is anything that's really going on in the relationship. Like, they don't want to deal with anything that's serious when it comes to, like, what the hell they're doing that you want to discuss. Like, you want to discuss stuff and get to the root of it, and they just want to give you word salad and take you on a date and get you hoovered back in, but there's no resolution there. Do you understand? There's no reciprocation in anything either. And it's all manipulation. Like, yeah, you're going to get a nice meal. What? So that they can get you hoovered back in, so they can drain you again, treat you like shit, and then discard you again? That's not a deal. Don't be fooled, man. The next is, the hell? Oh, yeah. So you have, like, some kind of connection. They're like, oh, we have such a connection. I never felt a connection like this with anybody else. Of course, in my opinion, I felt that way too, but it was the trauma bond. It wasn't love. It wasn't a twin flame. I thought it was to some degree. And sometimes I was gaslighting myself. I knew it wasn't true, but I think I was just gaslighting myself in that cloud of craziness. I mean, when you're in a crappy situation, you try to make it the best you can. But anyway, yeah, so they're like the fake twin flame, the carbon copy, the imposter twin flame, the imposter soulmate, because they're mirroring you so much. But with all the crazy making and all of the cheating and abuse behind your back, the lying, cheating, stealing, destroying, I mean, they're not your twin flame. They're not your soulmate. They never will be. But they kind of look like it a little, because they fake a few of the things by like mirroring yourself back to you. And your twin flame will be kind of, in some ways, a lot like you. You know, it's really whatever the world says it's opposite. It's like butterflies means you're in the presence of a narcissist. It doesn't mean that you're in love. But in a movie, they'll tell you that means you're in deep love with somebody. I got butterflies. Okay. Or here's another one. Opposites attract. Opposites don't attract. Like people attract. See how the world's backwards, and so is the narcissist. And the narcissist, that's why I would say spiritual consciousness of the world is narcissism, because they run the world system. They are the illuminists or whatever. I mean, we're dealing with lower echelon ones. The other ones then in the high ranking powers, and I'm telling you, people do not, these people in Hollywood, music, movies, sports, they're all in the system. Even these high ranking pastors, a lot of times those are probably off from the offshoot bloodline of the serpent seed, literally, to where these other ones that we're dealing with are on the lesser side of it, the lesser end of it. But the whole conglomerate is the fallen system of the enemy. We're dealing with it in a lesser micro end with our relationship and how we operate and act. See, our light was too bright, so that Satan had to send somebody out to put you out and put you down. And that's why this is happening, probably, I would suppose. So, it's not some bond, it's just the trauma bond. You're addicted to them. Tends to, like a crisis, like you know, sometimes there's a couple of there's a narcissist I've been with where they would always want to commit suicide. Like every 6 months they would be inpatient for a few days because they wanted to commit suicide. Those are times when they'd call you and want to talk with you because you're the only one that can help them or they can confide in and they feel comfortable with, which is BS. You were probably one in the long line of calls they made saying that to other people. They're cold. They're heartless. And then 11 is they call you and say they left something at your house, or they think they might have. Can they come look around just so they could see you? Pop up at your house, or pop up at your work, or pop up anywhere. If you jog at a park every day, they'll just show up there if you blocked them everywhere. Or at a Starbucks or something, if you visit there on certain days, certain times, they're going to make a pop-up. But there's some things I wanted to mention also. That was it. That was like the 11 type of things, but you know, you got to understand, like the psychologists, psychiatric doctors and psychotherapists and counselors and anybody in related to this in science or whatever in psychology is going to tell you that you can't change the narcissist. The only thing you can do is you can get them to adjust a little, which is like a rubber band effect is what I call it. It's like you could stretch the rubber band out, which means like you can get them to be make some minor changes that will be more suitable to you. But you know, the first crisis that occurs, that rubber band's going to snap back and they're going to be the same person they always were again. So that's not a change. They're pathological, and there's nothing you could do about it because they have evil demonic entities in them and they got to feed them. They are soulless. And so like humanity, I believe, has soul. We have souls, so we can reproduce and we can produce energy and we're self-regulate. So we can energize, and we're batteries, okay? Our heartbeats, and we're a battery. And so they're soulless, so I don't know how much of a battery they have. And second to that is they have these deep, dark, soulless entities in them that need to be fed. That's why they got to run around town and get all this supply all the time. Because if they don't, they're going to get ashen and gray because they're going to be depleted and they're going to be decomposing. They cannot produce energy. And I think that That's why the body needs love and it needs energy, and it's deadened because there's nothing in there but things that are sucking deep, dark holes that are sucking energy. That's why the more energy you give them, just the more they'll suck and the more pompous they will become. It's like if you treat a narcissist like shit, they will treat you with respect. If you want the narcissist, they don't want you. When you don't want the narcissist, they want you. See, they're the opposite of us because we're on the God conscience. We're on, the conscience of the Lord. We're of goodness. They're of evil. Evil are the sons of Belial. They're the sons of perdition. And the sons of perdition, sons of Belial, the people of this world that operate like them, that's what they're called in the Bible. And they're opposite. Satan is the opposite of Christ, right? That's why everything in the Bible on the left is cursed, or even in the world, everything on the left is cursed and the right is blessed. Because Jesus is at the right hand of God the Father. They're the opposite on the spectrum, Christ and Satan, and so are we with the narcissists. They're what we think is good, they would call evil good. What we call evil, they call it good. What we call good, they call evil. So everything's the opposite. That's why we are totally don't get along with them. But we're always sitting there trying to understand them, and that's why you're wasting your time. Just know that they're damned. They're damned on the earth, and they're already pre-damned. How about that? They're pre-damned to hell. You're looking at dead individuals. It's really weird, and it is hard to fathom, and it hurts. And you probably have, I've been down the road myself trying to help them. You can't help them. This is just what you will eventually come to. You'll just get a little bit, not necessarily colder to it. You'll just have gone down these roads so many times that if somebody could coach you out of doing it yourself, it's kind of like what the Bible says, obedience is better than sacrifice. If you could obey the understanding of the situation, then you'll save yourself a lot of time, because going through it, the sacrifice of it, it's like to go through the folly that I went through and other people went through. We're trying to save you from going down that folly. Just understand, learn quicker, and that's what we're trying to teach you, that don't do what we did. Because it takes more and more years off your life, more and more hurt, more and more pain, harder to get out of that hole. They are a deep ditch, it says in the Bible. A deep ditch. And they will bring you down to a morsel of bread. For instance, a prostitute, a whoremonger, right? But that's what they are. And you cannot make a man or a woman, you cannot turn a hoe into a housewife. And that is the narcissist. I mean, if you just look at it from that standpoint, nevertheless, everything else, they are whores, man. And you know it, I know it, and everybody knows it on all of these channels and all these platforms. We shouldn't even talk anymore. If you want to be with somebody pathological who hates you, they lie to you every day. They cheat on you every day. They devise evil against you, deceit. They stab you in the back every day, and they use and abuse you every day and use you like a floor mat to wipe their feet. They compete to destroy you, and they're supposed to be your partner. And when you're sick, they'll disappear. They'll cheat on you or break up with you. They'll steal your money. They'll take your goods. And they will drag you out to the desert and drop your ass off, laughing and kicking up dust while that car drives away with their new partner. Anyway, back to this. Sorry. Smile, guys. Today is a good day because you're walking away from the narcissist. But you have a lot of emotions in you, and a lot of energetic energy. And so the empath is the one they're really addicted to. The empath's the one that they are addicted. They crave the empath. I even got these words from the narcissist. I crave your touch. I crave you. Addictions crave. They are addicted to you. You think you're addicted to them. They have it probably twice as much for you. They just don't show it. But they do things to regulate. And so when you get towards the end of the cycle, they will you know, you have nothing to give, so you start being real to them. So you start telling them who they are. When they clap at you, you clap right back. You don't have the energy. You ain't effing around with them when you're out of energy. I've had enough. You're about to go supernova. That's why they're leaving you. So in the time of devalue, they're monkey branch into that new supply that they're prepping, which they have tons of. Probably, maybe, who knows? There's times where they have a lot of it, times they don't. They do things to regulate, like cheating on you. They love to cheat on you. They get supply from that. They get this duper's delight where they do things against you, and they love it because you don't know what they're doing behind your back, and they get off on it. That's supply. They love lying to you and getting over on you. They do drugs and they spend money, and that's how they get over on porn and sex. That's how they get supply. They fling, purge, and they project onto you all of their sin soul energy. Well, they take your good energy, your good soul energy. And they have to do things like this because they do not ask for forgiveness for real, like we do. They do not apologize for real. They do, they don't like worship or praise the Lord. And these are things where you get help, comfort, and purging of these things. And we're also always trying to be our best version of ourselves, where they're trying to be the worst version of themselves. And so that's what they do, and that's why they need you, and that's why they have to leave you. And there's two types of discards. There's the narc discard, where they discard you. If they discard you, they may take a long time to come back to you. It could be months, several months, 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, 20 years, I don't know. But when you break up with them, that's you discard them, they'll come back quicker. It just all depends, because they feel like they've been injured and they want control, and so they got to get you back, and then they'll figure out what they're going to do. I think that's all. They don't like the fact that they got to depend on you, because they're supposed to be gods. You're supposed to be, you know, just some little like livestock that they own. They're your property, or, you know, you're their property, I should say. And the harder that they discard you is the more that they need you. The more that they need you. If you're grade A, they're going to discard you hard. They want you to be so low when they leave, because they want to come back to you, and they don't want you to recover and get with somebody else. And so they want you feeling crappy and in that sunken place until they come back to hoover you. They want to knock you down real hard. So the harder they knock you down, the more they need you. The more you are a hot commodity to them. What else? I think that's it. Just leave them alone, man. Don't gray rock them. Give them as little information as possible. They will try all these texts and emails and things, and then the next is like the flying monkeys come at you. When you see them asking questions and seeing you and stuff, you just don't want to spend any time with them. Tell them anything. They lie as well. They wear masks as well. They're going to get back to and they're going to be loyal to the narcissist as well. So you just want to not say anything to them. Just switch the subject. Then keep it moving. But after the flying monkeys come, they hover then, and then they will hoover. Or the chance encounter. But yeah, that's kind of how it works. So Susan and everybody else out there, I hope this helps. If you want me to go over any other topics, let me know. Peace, y'all. Give me a like, a thumbs up, and subscribe. Stand tall, soldier up. Peace out. Love y'all. Peace.